In this clip, I will bring up the issue of the Antichrist. Now, the Antichrist isn't strictly a Christian thing. You've got Islam and Judaism, which do believe there will be a representative of Satan come onto the earth and rule it. Now, did the Antichrist have, or does the Antichrist have a special place within modern day Satanism? Well, the truth is, no, not really. Because when I was a Satanist, we did not try and guess who it was because we couldn't. So, what I want to talk about today is, could an Antichrist figure come to rule the world, so to speak? Now, when you, as I mentioned before, this is like a chess game. And the Antichrist would be a bishop-type figure. Or it could be a rook. But we have to examine how could such a figure come into play. Because you might be thinking, well, God knows everything, so therefore it cannot succeed. But at the same time, I believe that God would like to be surprised. Because if you know everything, when something comes out of nowhere, it brings your view of existence into another realm. So, most people think the Antichrist would be some big masculine man, something like an Arnold Schwarzenegger type figure or a Donald Trump type figure. But I want to run this past you, and please tell me what you think. What if the Antichrist was actually a transvestite or transgender? Now, most of you listening to this would say, oh, that'll never happen. But when we look at it today, you can have a man with a big broad chest, big muscular arms. He can put on lipstick and put on a dress and be accepted as a woman. Now, according to definition, it could be accepted on a social basis, on a legal basis, as is happening throughout the Western world, and it'll flow onto economic basis, or definitions, I should say. And in a sort of way, it will defeat or preempt revelations in the Bible. Now, as I said, in Christianity, it will be known as the Antichrist. In Islam, it'll be known as the Dajjal. And in Judaism, which has an interesting definition, so to speak, it'll be known as Armilus. But I will touch on that later on. The thing is, people tend to have a view that the AntiChrist is a designated person or entity, and nothing will change that. That is not exactly true. As I knew it, the AntiChrist will come from a pool of people who may be unknown to themselves. They will have no idea, but when the circumstances are right, the decision will be made. It's more or less along the lines of you're playing a game of poker. You, let's say Texas Hold'em, and you've bet everything on your hand. Now you might have ace, king, queen, jack of hearts. You want to go for a royal flush because you would win, but you don't have the 10. Now let's say somewhere in the shuffling you've managed to sneak in a joker card, and generally joker cards are regarded as wild. They can represent anything, even though the joker card is snuck in, it could still count as a wild card, and if you get that wild card, you can make your hand. So you're trying to pull an ultimate surprise from which no one can recover. And having a transgender or transvestite in the position of an AntiChrist, in effect, would still be a man, even though it would be accepted as a woman. Now, to me, believing such a thing would be like you see a Scotsman in a kilt and you decide he is a woman, even though he did not intend to be as such. And these people in the pool, which can change at any given time, they are unknown to themselves. Now, some of you may be wondering, what sort of person is likely to become the AntiChrist? Well, considering the amount of atheism, mental illness, and the people, taking drugs, both legal and illegal, there could be a case of possession. Now, here's the interesting part. In Judaism, the Antichrist, their equivalent would be called Armilus, which is actually a demon or a djinni from the Nuctemeron. Now, the interesting part is, in this respect, the Antichrist would not be a natural human being per se. Now, when we look at the Antichrist, we can look at what the Orthodox Church have said up to recently, that the Antichrist will be a Jew. Now, when we use that term Jew, we're talking about a bloodline type definition. May not be practicing Judaism per se, but if we go along with that and we look at Armilus, which will be the Antichrist in Judaism, we could, in a way, kind of narrow down the suspect or suspected one chosen. But as I said, this is like having a joker card in a poker game. It's one that Satan will be holding close to his chest. And I was a theistic Satanist, and I had no tip-offs or anything like that. It is something we could try and work out, but myself, I think the joker card is going to be played when the time is right. Just a couple more things I'd like to mention. Now, Armilus is mentioned in the Nuctemeron. Well, interestingly enough, in 1928, there was a book called the Nuctemeron, which was published, which really, I don't know, especially say it was bizarre. But at the time, the late 1920s to the late 1950s, we had a lot of what is now the basis of our New Age movement. So in 1928 we had the new Nuctemeron. In 1930 we had the discovery of the planet Pluto. And with that came a push for a 13th zodiac sign called Ophiuchus. Whether these things are all related, I don't know. But it's just something for you to check up upon. Anyway, I'll leave it at this.